Can you correct the mistakes in these English sentences? I didn't walk it to work this morning. Excuse me, I would like an pizza, please. I live in a blue old big house. Hey, I'm Malcolm, a Babbel Live teacher. If you're studying English, you've probably made some of these errors before. Luckily for you, making mistakes is an important part of learning a language. Today I'll show you how to correct those mistakes along with other common errors made by English learners. Subscribe here if you're interested in more videos about language learning. Let's get started. Mistake number 1, conjugating past tense verbs. By changing the tense of the verb, we let our audience know whether we're talking about an action in the past, present, or future. I ran, I run, I will run. Some scholars say there are only 2 tenses in English. Others say 26. But however you count them, you'd be right to assume that things can get a little complicated. Let's look at the past tense. The most common way of saying something already happened is to add the ending ed to a verb. I walk becomes I walked. She plays becomes she played. Irregular verbs do not follow that formula though. She goed to school, she went to school. I writed an essay, I wrote an essay. And negative sentences can be especially tricky for learners. Let's go back to our first error from the beginning of this video. I didn't walk to work this morning. In these cases, didn't or did not is already telling us the sentence is about the past. So the correct full sentence would be, I didn't walk to work this morning. Similarly, you would say, I didn't play basketball yesterday. I didn't drink soda for an entire year. That doesn't cover every form of the past tense in English, but if you get used to the irregular past tense verbs like to make, he made, and to say, they said, it'll definitely help. Mistake number 2, mixing up similar words. Homophones are words that are pronounced the same but have different spellings and meanings. There indicates location. Look over there. There is a pronoun and shows ownership. Is that their car in the driveway? There is a contraction of they are. Yes, they're getting out of it now. Homographs are words that are spelled the same but have different meanings. Sometimes they're pronounced the same, sometimes they're not. Wind means to loop around. Wind is moving air, a breeze. A fan can move air to create breeze, but a fan is also a supporter or admirer. Pay attention to context clues on which word is being used. If someone asks about the most important rulers in British history, they're probably asking about monarchs or prime ministers, not measuring sticks. When you're writing in English, a careful look at homophones can save you some mistakes. Mistake number 3, confusing vowel sounds. English vowels can drive you crazy. There are 5, A, E, I, O, U. And sometimes Y is considered a vowel, like when it makes the E sound as in crazy, or a long I sound as in fly, or the short I sound as in gym. Despite there only being 5 or 6 vowels, English has around 20 vowel sounds, depending on exact dialect. And our pronunciation rules are filled with exceptions and inconsistencies. For example, the word stuff has the same vowel sound as tough, but tough sounds different from cough. Like so much of language learning, studying definitely plays a role, so immerse yourself in the language. Find conversation partners or sign up for a Babbel Live class. Gradually, you'll master these different words through repeated exposure. Mistake number 4, incorrect adjective order. The adjectives you use to describe things in English go in a specific sequence. You probably won't find a native speaker who can tell you which category of the adjective comes first, but they'll definitely notice when you mix up the conventional order. That's why it sounds odd to a native speaker if you say, I live in an old blue big house. A native speaker would say, I live in a big old blue house. The order governing adjectives in English is number, opinion, size, age, shape, color, origin, material, purpose. Don't bother studying that list. This is another area where conversational practice and immersion will serve you best. Eventually, hearing them out of order will just sound wrong to you. And remember, even when someone might notice you use the wrong order, they'll still understand you. Communicating is the important thing. Mistake number 5, dropping pronouns. In some Romance languages, you can often drop the subject from a sentence. The conjugation of the verb tells you who the subject is. In Italian, io sono uno studente can be expressed as sono uno studente. But in English, am a student doesn't work. Go with I am a student. When there is no clear subject, or for using the passive voice, we often make it or there the subject. What's the weather like today? It's warm and sunny. Did I hear an ambulance go by? There was an accident nearby. Hope she's okay. Did you catch that last sentence? In informal conversations, when the subject is clear, we do sometimes drop the subject. But as a general rule, especially when you're learning, you're better off including it in your sentences to avoid confusion. Mistake number 6, issues with articles. A, an, and the, some of the smallest words in English, can cause the biggest headaches. Learners will sometimes forget to add an article when it's needed. I visited United States, instead of I visited the United States. But it's probably more common for native Romance language speakers to include an article where we drop it in English. I like the pizza a lot, versus I like pizza a lot. If you're referring to a specific pizza, the one in the living room, for example, you can say the pizza. But when talking about pizza in general, we omit the article. I love pizza. Similarly, we don't say the love is all you need, just love is all you need. And you don't speak the French, you speak French. If a noun isn't countable, things like information or advice, we don't use articles. So you don't tell your friend, I need an advice, or I need the advice, just I need advice. You might be scared of making mistakes when learning a new language, but you should embrace them. Mistakes mean you're trying, practicing, and making the effort you need to become a functional speaker. Immerse yourself in the language, and check out the link in the description down below for more English language resources. Thanks for watching.